welcome back to my channel. My name is Kimberly, if you don't already know me. If you've been here before, welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome. We have an awesome growing little family here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatnot. All my links are down below. Be sure to check them out. What I want to talk about today is the PCAT. I know a lot of you, I do have another video on this, which I'll link up above in the eye, and I'll also put it down below probably. But I know a lot of you have been asking me so many questions about it, so I wanted to go over some of the most common questions that I actually get. So that way I can kind of answer them all together here, because I always find myself copying and pasting to different people and different messages on Facebook and everything like that. I will go ahead and link the Facebook group that I'm in down below. Alex Sparker, I believe is his name. He's the one who actually started that group, so it is his PCAT group down below. I will go ahead and link that, because that's where a lot of people find me on there, and that's where they will start asking me questions. And I always try to remain active on there as well, just so I can answer your questions as you post them too. So if you want to go ahead and find out some more info on the most common questions I get about the PCAT, which is the Pharmacy College Admissions Test, go ahead and just keep watching. This is probably going to be one of the longer videos, so do not worry. I will have timestamps down below. Just open up that description box, click the little arrow there, and you will go ahead and find all of the timestamps. So if you have a specific question, check them out. Okay, everyone, so one of the main questions that I get all of the time about the PCAT is, what the heck was my score? I am not good at taking standardized tests at all. I am horrible at it. I do not perform well. I get stressed out. Thank God for that break in between that, we could take if we wanted to, because I went out, ate a snack, and took some ibuprofen, because I was getting a headache. Because I'm not good in a situation like that. I just put so much stress and anxiety on myself that I just don't do well in a 4-hour-long exam. I just don't. So, but I am here. I am in my top choice of pharmacy school, and I absolutely love it. I have a ton of opportunities. I still got in. Yeah. I do actually tell people, my actual score. I'll tell you where it was at, and it was not good. It was average at best. Yeah, average at best. That is what I did. I had nothing near the 80s, 90s, nothing up there. No. It wasn't as low as the 30s, 40s or anything like that, but I was average. That is how I performed. It was average. And honestly, I don't remember my exact score. I can tell you the roundabout. It was average, because I didn't want to stress myself out. I got the score and I was average. That's it. Seriously, don't stress yourself out about it. That is the one thing that I can tell you. One thing I can tell you. Don't stress yourself out about it. You'll get your score. You go and take it. Get your score right away. The writing portion that you have to do doesn't really affect your score. I've never really seen it. I've heard that it can. They say that it can, but I've never actually seen it affect your overall score once you get that right away as soon as you end the exam. But yeah, don't let that number freak you out, okay? If you didn't do as well as you thought, just say, I did average. You know what? I did average. I'm an average student. There you go. That's that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, so I did average on the PCAT, and I still got into every single school that I applied to, and I was still able to make myself a well-rounded student and a well-rounded individual. Honestly, the interview is something that you should probably stress out more about than the PCAT itself, because yes, they want you to be excelling, they want you to do very well in their courses, but they really need someone who is personable. They need someone who a patient will feel comfortable going up to and talking to about their medical concerns or their prescriptions. They need someone who is trustworthy and who is a people person. Yeah, so you really just need to be able to interact with others, with other professionals, and most importantly, with your patients. And that's what they're looking for in the interview. That's why so many colleges do group interviews. They want to see how you can interact with your peers and how you can interact in a professional setting. And you need to be able to do very well at that in order, to really guarantee your spot. I mean, there's no such thing as guaranteeing a spot in pharmacy school. somebody was saying that if you get like an 80 or 90 on the PCAT, and you have a really good GPA, like 3.5 and above, then you're basically like guaranteed to get into pharmacy school. No. No. No, 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 no. Okay, that's not even close. Just because you have good grades and you are smart and you perform well in a classroom and on a test, that does not guarantee you a spot, because that does not mean that you are also good with people, okay? That's the point of the interview. A lot of times, the students, I'm not saying this is true for everybody, okay? But a lot of times, the students who do very, very well and get like in the 99th percentile, like, you know, up there in the 90s, and then they're also, you know, have a 4.0 or something like that, or 3.9, they don't do well in person. They don't have that personable personality. That's a lot of like P's there, sorry. But they're not very personable. So that's what is so important about being a well-rounded individual, okay? A well-rounded student. You don't just want to excel at one thing, okay? Because that's not going to guarantee you a spot. Honestly, nothing will guarantee you a spot. Nothing will. You really just, when you're deciding pharmacy school, you just really need to make sure that it's for you. You need to make sure that you can put your all into this, because pharmacy isn't just a career, it is literally a person and how they are. So a lot of pharmacy students, a lot of med students, people in healthcare, nursing. Like nursing is one of the biggest, I think it's one of the easiest things for us to actually, you know, grip onto and just say, oh, okay, now I get it. Nurses don't always get paid the best money. Nurses get yelled at frequently. They do not always work in the best atmosphere. They don't always get to go to the bathroom when they need to. They might be running around with someone's puke on them. Like, you don't know. Like, nurses don't do the job because it is glorious, okay? They do the job because they love it, and that's who they are. And a lot of times in pharmacy and other healthcare professions as well, it's the same. You know, like a dentist, you know, I know some people kind of, you know, freak out at the thought of, you know, being in someone else's mouth and doing work to their mouth and all that kind of stuff, because, you know, that those are actual bones. So it freaks me out in a way. I couldn't be a dentist, and I give props to anybody who can, but you know, it's one of those things. Like, they do it because they love it. It's their passion. You know, you're not going to spend $150,000 on school for something that you just consider to be a career and a job. You're going to spend money on your passion in life, right? So once you are applying to pharmacy school, you need to make sure that it is your passion, that it is what you want to do. You are going to be putting blood, sweat, and tears into it. Okay, maybe not the blood unless you get like paper cuts a lot or something, but you know what I mean. Like, it's going to be stressful. You're probably going to cry at times. Tears of joy and also tears of heartache and sadness because you just failed an exam or something. Like, it's going to happen, okay? It's going to happen. So when you are making that decision as to, you know, oh, I need to study for this PCAT, yes, it's going to make you nervous. It will make you nervous. I promise you it will, but I also promise you that it will get better. If this is your true passion, there's going to be a ton of things that are going to make you nervous within your pharmacy career, okay? There just are. But it's going to get better. You're going to get through it. You're going to push through it, and you're going to make it. And bottom line, you know, if you don't have that passion, then you're not going to make it. So really, another point of this whole video is to basically just figure out what you want to do. Figure out if this is it. Figure out if you want to spend the money. Figure out if, you know, this is truly what you want to put all your time and energy into, because it really is a lifestyle. It's not necessarily just a job. Okay, another question that I actually get asked a lot is, how do I figure out which schools I should apply to? And honestly, I can't really answer that for you. I can only tell you that you need to do your research. For me, I don't like to be like the best of the best. Like, I don't need to go to the #1 pharmacy school. Yeah, it would be cool, but let's be honest, I don't know if I'd get in. I have no idea, but I wasn't like shooting for the top, but I wanted something, you know, I wanted a program that would offer me a lot of experiences. And I do think that is one of the most important things. But it truly does depend on what you want to do. If you know that you want to go right into retail pharmacy, like working at CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens, that sort of thing, or like an independent pharmacy, you want to go right into retail or community, maybe you should think of considering to apply to a fast track school, and they do have those where you can actually go like year round, and it'll be for 3 years instead of 4, so technically you would graduate a year early, so you can get out into the workforce a year early. So if you know what you want to do and that's exactly what you want to do, go ahead and look at one of those schools maybe. See if one of those, feels right to you, and, see if you get in, and if that's what you want to do it. If you want to do a residency or something like that, make sure you go to a school that will be able to supply you with the resources you need and the experiences you need and the grades that you need in order to get into that residency. So if there are certain schools that maybe they just started, maybe they're newer schools, maybe they don't have as many rotations or as many sites for their students to go to practice out to in the field and stuff like that and get their experiences. So just take that into consideration as well, because you might need to have certain experiences in order to get that dream residency that you are wanting. So I think the school truly does matter. Now, if you are not sure what you want to do, my personal advice to you would be to still go to one of those schools that offers a ton of experiences, okay? Go to a school that is well-established, well-known. Doesn't have to be the top of the top, best of the best, that type of thing. Maybe it's one of the top schools in your state. You don't have to travel across the country to go to a good pharmacy school, okay? You can look in your state. You can travel if you want to. You can stay in your state if you want to, because in-state tuition, we all know, is cheaper. And there's nothing wrong with that, because let me tell you, that's why I moved back to my home state, because I want cheaper tuition. So, but yeah, my advice to you would be, if you truly don't know, and most students don't know what they want to do, just go to a school that's going to offer you a ton of experiences. Go to a school that has a ton of organizations for you to be a part of, just something that you can have so many experiences, research, maybe a school that is connected to a hospital chain, or not really a hospital chain, but if it's a student school that has a big hospital attached to it, that hospital is going to be obviously having a ton of those students in it on rotation and following the doctors, shadowing them, that sort of thing. So that would actually be really cool as well. So experiences do mean a lot, and it's very important to build up your portfolio, especially if you want a residency. Not all students want a residency, and that's okay if you don't, because you don't need a residency for every single career out there. But if you want to specialize, a residency might be the way to go. So I would suggest just kind of balancing out what you want to do, the experiences that you want to have, the research that you might want to do, the shadowing you might want to do, if you want to work in a certain hospital, if you want to work in a certain pharmacy, whatever that may be, you just kind of need to balance that out. If you're kind of like an open book and you're just like, I don't know, throw it at me, I just want to do whatever. I just like, throw me these different experiences and tell me what all I can do as a pharmacist, then honestly, go to a school that's going to provide you with that. So it really, truly does come down to you to do the research. Call the school, talk to other students. There's Facebook groups galore everywhere. Talk to other students. That's one of the best things that you can do. Because, the students that you're going to be applying with and going to school with, they're going to be your peers one day, and maybe your coworkers. We're all going to be pharmacists one day, so it's super cool. We need to work together in order to help each other out to get where we need to be, so that way we can put our patients truly in the #1 spot. Okay, so another question that I always get asked is when your undergrad classes need to be finished before you get into your pharmacy program. And my best answer for you is to figure it out with the school that you will be going to, or figure it out with the schools that you will be applying to, because we do apply to our schools a year in advance, which is like unheard of. I was so blown away by that fact. Like, you apply to pharmacy school a year before you start, but hey, whatever. That's just how it is. So you kind of need to check with those schools, and especially the school that, you know, you definitely want to go to, because some of them say that you need to have it done by the end of the spring semester, okay? Like, if you're starting fall of 2018, you need to have your classes done by spring of 2018, okay? Some schools say that. Other schools will say, go ahead, you can still take some classes over the summer, but they need to be done by, you know, the end of that summer 2018 course term, whatever you call it, okay? So some of them say the spring before, some of them say the summer before, and then you start in the fall, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. It really depends on the school that you are going to end up going to as to what their requirements are, and that's something you just have to check into. Okay, another question that I often get asked is in this PCAT Facebook group that is linked down below. A lot of people ask me, have I ever purchased somebody else's material on there? Or have I ever sold anything on there? Now, I'm an honest person, so I would never, you know, try to take someone's money without giving them the product of whatever I'm selling. I would never do that. I honestly... Me personally, I have not heard of any, you know, fraud on that Facebook group where somebody is going to be, you know, saying they're selling something and then somebody pays them for it and then that person never gets the product, okay? I've never heard of that. And my personal opinion on that is, you know, if you're in that group and you're trying to defraud somebody on that, you know, why are you in the pharmacy profession? You know, this is a professional, like, program, you know what I mean? It's a doctor of pharmacy program, and why would you be in that if you are not an honest individual? I don't really see why somebody would be in there trying to do that, but the way the world is, you know, it could happen. My advice would be to, you know, try to pay them through PayPal. PayPal is wonderful. I think so. And there's probably other sites out there too, but I really like PayPal because they do help you against fraud. So if you would pay this person through PayPal and you wouldn't ever get that product, you can file a claim with PayPal and they will get your money back for you. I do use PayPal a lot, so I really enjoy that. Especially just that extra protection basically on your purchases. So my advice would be to use some sort of site like that that will offer some sort of protection just in case you really don't get the product. Other than that, if you're doing like, you can always meet up face to face. If you guys are in the same area, do it in a public place, okay? Don't be stupid, okay? Just do it in a public place. Oh my gosh. But again, I mean, I would hate to see that happen on that site because that's a site for pre-pharmacy individuals, and you should be professional by that point. When you're thinking of that, you know, when you're thinking of going into that and you yourself have already purchased those items, you know, why would you try to defraud somebody and who's trying to, you know, go into the same boat you are, who's trying to go into pharmacy school? It just wouldn't make sense to me. But again, you know, everything can be surprising in this world nowadays, right? So, but just do it smart, protect yourself, use a site like PayPal or something similar, and you should be fine. Another question I get asked is about calculators, if you can use a calculator on the math section. And for me, nope. When I took it, nope, I was not allowed to use it. We had these like white, like erase marker type of paper things. It wasn't a white erase board, you know what I mean? It was like it's on paper, and you have like, actually it's like more of like a permanent marker because you're not allowed to erase it. They need to see what you are writing. If you need more paper, they will go ahead and provide you with more of those, you know, special sheets or whatever, but you're not allowed to erase them. So that's what I had to do. I had to do everything by hand, okay? I heard that may have changed. I personally took the PCAT in 2015. I took it in July and September of 2015, and then I started pharmacy school in the fall of 2016. So when I took it in 2015, we were not allowed to have calculators. I'm not sure if that has changed, so don't quote me on that. If someone knows the answer to that, please comment down below and let me know if that truly has changed, because I am not sure. I don't have access to that information anymore. Okay, so I need to finish this video quick because my sunlight is going. But another question that I get asked a lot is, what should I study on? What should I focus on the most as I'm studying and preparing to take the PCAT? Well, honestly, I can't answer that question for you. You need to study and focus on the subjects that give you the most trouble, okay? The subjects that, whoa, this just fell. The subjects that give me the most trouble are probably not going to be the same as the subjects that give you the most trouble. Again, you know, I have a beauty channel as well. I kind of like combine everything into one, but the same foundation does not work for every single person. I use this example a lot. The same makeup doesn't work for every single person. The same study tips and study tactics and what you need to focus on is not the same for every single person. So when you are going through, my suggestion would be to do, before you even start studying, do a practice test. Literally sit there for the full 4 hours. When I do the practice test, I always skipped the writing section. I was like, because no one's going to grade it on the, no one's going to grade the writing section when you do the practice test. So I always skipped it. But then again, I'm also really good at writing. So it depends if you need to focus on your writing, then that's something that you're going to want to practice on and have somebody else edit, okay? But yeah, so do a practice test before you actually start studying and see what sections you need to work on. Whichever ones you feel the most uncomfortable about, work on those, focus on those. For me, I think I was not really good with the chemistry section. I think at that point I didn't have biochem. And I think I didn't even have the second semester of organic. Wait, I had no organic at that point. I had no organic chemistry at that point. So I had no idea. Or I might have had one semester. Shoot, I can't remember, okay? I can't remember. But I did not have all of the chemistry that I needed. And it's okay. You know, everybody's in the same boat as you because everybody is applying a year in advance. That means you're still taking some of those prerequisite classes that entire school year as, you're trying to also take the PCAT. So you kind of need to figure out what you need to study. For some people, it's microbiology. I was fortunate enough to be able to get into a microbiology class before I took the PCAT, so that was one of my stronger sections. I also get asked a lot about the reading section and how to improve yourself on that. Basically, you need to learn how to skim read, and you need to always, always, always look at the questions before you start reading the passage, because some of those passages are long, and honestly, you need to be able to skim read in order to get that done in time. I am a really good skim reader, and I think I only had minutes to spare at the end of that section. So, I mean, I read a lot. I can read a book in one day, like an actual book, like thick book in one day. So it kind of depends on, your speed with that. All you can really do to get to that speed is to practice. You just have to keep practicing, just keep trying to, speed up your reading. And that section is something I had to really concentrate on, and I give the same advice to you. Really concentrate on that section. Go ahead and make sure you can skim read. Always read the questions first and get used to doing that. Just do a lot of practice reading passages, okay? Read those questions first. Make sure they start, as you're skimming, they'll start to jump out at you, and the answers to those questions anyhow. So that way you can go ahead and get those answers quicker rather than having to, really dissect the whole passage and then go back and read the questions and then go back again and try to find the answers. Like you want to skip that, okay? You want to read the questions, skim read it, make those questions jump out at you so that way you can get on to the next passage quicker so you don't run out of time. When you are actually in the exam, I get this question a lot too. I want to make sure I just answered all of that. Tips. Okay, yeah. Tips for when you're actually taking the exam. I think one of my main tips is going to be, if you don't know the answer, skip that question. No. If you are struggling too long, if you are taking too long to answer that question, Go on to the next one. Do not sit there, like it's on any exam, okay? Do not sit there and spend too much time on one question, because while you were spending that time on that question, and yeah, you might get that question right after, 5 minutes of hard thinking, you could have gotten 5 other ones right that were easier for you. That you then, because you spent that much time on this one hard question, you didn't get to these other 5 ones that you could have gotten right. And those 5 that you would have gotten right are going to help your score more than that one question, okay? So whenever you don't know something, skip it. Go to the next one, okay? And then once you finish all the easy ones, that's when you start to go back and start to redo those questions and spend more time on them. Second tip, do not leave anything blank. Do not leave a question blank. Don't skip a question and then never go back to it. Do not, this is going to be weird. Do not answer any question, okay? Even if you don't know, guess, okay? When in doubt, guess C. There you go. Like, just guess. I'm telling you, just guess. Because that, you might get lucky, okay? You might get lucky. I normally don't get lucky when I'm guessing, but you might, okay? So, definitely, for the exam, do that. Another tip that I wanted to give you all is take the break, okay? Take the break. Just do it. If you need to go to the bathroom sometime during the exam and you cannot wait till that break, or you gave up that break and now it's after the break and you really have to pee or something, you don't get to pause the exam. You have got to leave. You have to then come back, and you lose that time in whatever section you're at, okay? You lose that time. The exam doesn't stop for you. The exam only stops at that break. So I'm telling you right now, make sure you use the bathroom before, do that first section, take that 15-minute break. Just do it. Use the bathroom, even if you think you don't have to, just do it, okay? And then go back and finish. Your brain also needs, your eyes and your brain need that break from that computer screen, because this is on a computer, right? So when we're sitting, have you ever scrolled Facebook for a while or got stuck watching YouTube videos late at night? Your eyes sometimes hurt afterwards. Think about this, when you are trying to use so much of your brain and you're stressed out about this exam, and then you're also straining your eyes by looking at this computer screen for a long period of time, you're going to be tired. You need that break. Give yourself that break, okay? Go out. You are allowed to bring some food with you. Take a snack. Eat that snack, okay? Just do it. Just eat it. You're using up a lot of energy in your body, because your brain really does use energy when you are using it this much at one time, okay? Take that snack. I actually had some ibuprofen and Tylenol with me because I get headaches very easily in stressful situations, and also when I'm at a computer screen for so long, I get headaches. So I also took that time to take some ibuprofen. Actually, I ate first, and then I got some ibuprofen or Tylenol, I can't remember which one, but I took some of that, and then I also went to the restroom. And then if you finish your break early, you can go back early if you want to, or you can take your whole time, okay? But if you were out on your break longer for that 15 minutes, your exam is going to start without you, okay? So you just make sure you are on time for that. If you get headaches a lot, because like I said, I get headaches a lot in stressful situations and whatnot. So I actually took 2 ibuprofen before I started the exam to help prevent a headache. So I did that with my breakfast that morning. I think my exam was at 8 in the morning. So I did that with my breakfast, went ahead and took those 2 ibuprofen and attempted to prevent that headache, which it did work for me. And then at lunch, I actually ended up taking, I think it was 2 more ibuprofen. I'm pretty sure it was, to make sure that I did not get that headache, because I do not perform well on an exam, first off. And if you put me in an exam with a headache, I'm probably going to do even worse. So another question I get asked a lot is about the PharmCAS application itself. Yes, the PharmCAS application, you are filling those things out. You are applying to pharmacy school a year before you start pharmacy school, okay? It's all done a year in advance. And yes, I think I said this before, other students are in the same boat where they might not have some of the subjects, and it's okay. That's why they have so many test materials out there for you to use and for you to study from. Let's see, about submitting everything all at once. No, you don't have to do that. You can add to it over time. My suggestion for you is to honestly try to do it the summer before you actually are in your last year and going on your interviews and such. My timeline and what I really liked about this is that I concentrated everything on, I think the PCAT, or I'm sorry, not the PCAT, the PharmCAS and everything becomes available mid-July around there. At least for me it did. So that's when I basically concentrated on everything, okay? Before that year, before you're starting to apply and everything like that, you need to have your recommendation letters in mind, have teachers in mind, pharmacists in mind, preceptors in mind, whoever, you need to have them in mind and, be building these relationships over time. Like I said, pharmacy is not just something you up and choose and you're like, oh, that's going to be my job. No, this is a passion. So you have to put, a lot of time and effort and thought into this, okay? So with going ahead and, putting everything in at once, no, you don't have to. Spread it out over time. I did most of mine over that summer, and then I ended up took the PCAT in July, and then I knew my semester, that last year of school, it could be very hard for you. So do you want to be studying for the PCAT at the same time as you're trying to pass your classes? I sure didn't. So I went ahead and took it again in September, and that was the last time I took it. That's it. I took it twice. And then, so after that, I ended up basically trying to finish my entire application and everything, get as much as I could done in the summer and before my semester started. So that way I could then concentrate on my grades and my classes during the school year. Okay, that was just me because I'm a planner. I need to plan things out. I can't just, I can't just remember to do something. I need to plan it out. And that actually really helps me then because I had everything basically in. I had everything in by the early decision deadline, but I didn't apply early decision, okay? You don't have to apply early decision. You can still apply whenever you want. As soon as they start taking applications, you can apply, and it does not have to be early decision. So I went ahead and applied very early, and then I started going on my interviews. I think I had my first interview end of September, actually. It was not early decision. It was not, okay? Don't freak out. It's just because I applied early, and then I kept going on interviews until end of January, I think. So, and it was just nice because at that point I was done with the PCAT, so I could concentrate on the next step, which is the interview. Yeah, that is one of my biggest tips ever, is really just to try to plan everything out and just concentrate on one thing at a time. That's really, honestly, if you look at the whole big picture of pharmacy school in general, like from undergrad all the way up to your doctor of pharmacy, it's so stressful. It's crazy, right? You have to take so many state board exams and all this kind of stuff, and it's just so much easier to concentrate on one thing at a time and cross it off and be like, okay, next thing, cross it off. Next thing, cross it off. Do you see what I mean? For me, that's how I am. That's how I need to function in order to not make myself go crazy, okay? So you may be different. You may be able to look at the whole thing and be like, I got this, right? But for me, that stresses me out. I have to concentrate on one thing at a time, so that is what I do. As far as applying to multiple schools, yes, you most certainly can, okay? Just keep in mind, though, whereas a lot of schools do work with PharmCAS themselves, so that way you don't necessarily have to send your scores to every single school, which will cost money. If that school does not work with PharmCAS, you're probably going to have to pay to get your scores sent to those schools, okay? But if those schools have like a collaboration and work with PharmCAS, you're going to be fine because those schools will get your scores directly from PharmCAS and it will be free, okay? So you can add as many schools on there. Like I added schools onto my, I sent scores of my PCAT exam to schools I didn't even apply to, okay? It's okay. Don't worry. It's okay. It will be fine. You can do it too. They're not going to hold you against anything. They're not going to be like, hey, you sent me your scores. Why did you not apply? No, it doesn't work like that. But yes, you can apply to multiple schools. I think I ended up applying to 4 in total. And yeah, so that's what I did. And that's what worked best for me. Maybe for you, you only want to apply to 2. Just keep in mind that even though the PharmCAS does have a cost as well, the separate supplemental applications, because a lot of the schools they require the PharmCAS. Some of them still require a separate application. They're like, no, we don't work with PharmCAS. Like, get PharmCAS out of here. You apply directly to us. So it all depends on the school, okay? So they could require their own thing. Maybe some of them work with PharmCAS and they just take the score directly from PharmCAS. Others, they might, work with PharmCAS, but then they say, hey, we have a supplemental application. You got to fill that out too, okay? And sometimes actually most of the times, those supplemental applications you have to pay for as well. So it truly just depends on the school. You have to just do your research. I can't sit here and go through every school and tell you what you need to do. You just have to do your research and reach out to them, because the pharmacy school, they want to help you. They want to help students. They want to recruit the best students. So if you express interest in their school and you're saying, I want to do this right because you are my dream school, what do I need to do? Tell me how to do this right. And they will, okay? They're not like promise they're gonna chop your head off. They're helpful. They're passionate in pharmacy too, okay? Because when you think about it, they're also pharmacists. Most of them are also pharmacists. So that's their passion. They want to teach other student pharmacists and help them grow into the profession and into the passion that they have as well. Okay, so that's what I mean. Like, this is all a passion. It's all a big circle, okay? We all help each other out. Okay, I think this is the last question I'm going to do because my daylight is diminishing. But yes, you can still add schools to get your scores after you take the PCAT, okay? As long as you choose PharmCAS to get your score after you take the PCAT, most schools, not all, but most schools, you just have to put the school name in there and just let them know, like, hey, get my score from PharmCAS. Just let them know, and they will go ahead and get your score from PharmCAS, okay? Other schools, on the other hand, like I said, some schools don't work with PharmCAS. Some schools are like, no. So then, yes, you will have to pay to add them in. It truly all depends on the school and whether or not they have that collaboration with PharmCAS, and to see if you can go ahead and just simply add them onto the list, and PharmCAS is like, okay, you already paid us, sure, we'll send it to them too, that's fine. So it just, if you ever have any questions, just call PCAT. Just call them. There is, wherever your center is, wherever you're taking your exam, just call them and talk to them. They're very helpful, truly helpful. I can't even tell you, I was super confused about this process too. Trust me. Yeah, so my main point with all of this is that you are not alone. There are so many students in the same boat as you, and there are even more students and even more professionals who are out there who truly want to help you succeed and who truly want to answer all the questions that you have, about this whole process, because it is unfortunately very confusing. It's so sad because, well, not really, it's not sad, but now that I've gone through the process, I'm like, oh yeah, that was cake, I get it. But when I was going through the process, I was like, deer in headlights. So yeah, don't worry, you will get through. You will push through. If this is your passion, you will get through. Don't worry, okay? I promise you, don't worry. We are here for you. So this is my video number 2. I'll link my other one down below and in the eye up here if you want to check that out as well. That has some other tips and stuff like that. But yeah, if you have any other questions, if I may have missed over something, let me know. Comment them down below. Message me on Facebook, wherever. I have all my social media links down below. I actually have a business Facebook page now as well, so it's easier for you to figure out who I am, because my personal Facebook page doesn't necessarily match up with my YouTube or anything else. So my business Facebook page is now down below, so feel free to contact me there. All right, thank you all for watching and for sticking with me until the end. My light is basically gone, so I'm wrapping up this video. And yeah, make sure you give it a thumbs up or subscribe down below and become part of our growing family here on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see y'all next time.